Have you ever wondered if someone might be silently in love with you right now, and you haven't even noticed? It may sound far-fetched, but psychology has proven that love, especially unspoken love, leaves behind subtle traces that are often invisible to the untrained eye. And here's an even more intriguing thought. 90% of those who feel a deep love will never confess it. It's not that they don't care, but the feeling remains unspoken. They don't declare their love through words, they express it through actions, but the signs are so fine, so hidden within the fabric of the subconscious, that most people fail to recognize them. The deeper tragedy? Many potential love stories remain unwritten simply because one person missed the signs in time. The great wisdom of the mind teaches us that understanding comes through awareness. Those who fail to see these signs risk missing a truly transformative connection. So in this video, I will guide you through 13 subtle signs that someone may be silently in love with you, all derived from insights that have stood the test of time. The final sign will reveal how you can transform this hidden connection into something real, something life-changing. Don't let this chance slip by. Stay with me until the end to fully understand how to identify these hidden signals. Have you ever encountered someone who admires you deeply, even noticing things that others miss? Or perhaps there's someone who, despite their constant teasing or lighthearted jabs, seems to never pull away? These actions may not be as random as they seem. According to the wisdom of human nature, when we feel something but cannot express it openly, our inner being finds ways to show those emotions indirectly, almost as if guided by a hidden force. This is the first sign of silent love. It manifests in what Carl Jung called psychological projection. This means someone may project emotions onto you that they can't yet fully understand in themselves. Two forms of this projection often appear. The first is idealization, where the person places you on a pedestal, praising every little detail, from your smile to how you express yourself in subtle ways. But love's subtle signs don't always come wrapped in praise. They may show up through teasing or playful criticism, words spoken not to hurt, but to get closer without revealing true feelings. This type of behavior is often the brain's way of reaching out, yearning for connection, yet without fully exposing the depths of affection. And it gets even more interesting. This person might talk about you even when you're not around. They repeat your phrases, show interest in your hobbies, or mention your name in conversations without realizing it. Repressed love doesn't vanish. It finds a way to express itself through these small, almost invisible actions. If someone treats you differently than they treat others, through either exaggerated admiration or lighthearted teasing, it's possible that silent love is hiding between their words and deeds. Think about it. Can you recall anyone who acts like this around you? The second sign of silent love lies in those mixed signals, the contradictions of someone who constantly shifts between drawing close and pulling away. Have you noticed a person who fluctuates between being fully present and then suddenly distant? This push-pull pattern is often rooted in deeper fears and desires, stemming from an unconscious place of vulnerability. According to the deep insights of attachment theory, this type of back-and-forth behavior can be a sign of ambivalent attachment. The person longs for connection, but the fear of rejection holds them back. Silent love often manifests this way, intense closeness followed by a sudden retreat, as if the heart cannot bear the vulnerability of true intimacy. This pattern is not just random. It's a dance of emotions where the person wants to stay close but is afraid of being hurt. When they distance themselves, it's a protective mechanism. What's remarkable is that this cycle often happens only with you. If they pull away but always return seeking closeness, it means their emotions have nowhere to go but inward. Repressed love never truly fades. The third sign of silent love reveals itself through those quiet, unnoticed gestures. Acts of kindness that often go unacknowledged. Imagine returning home from a long day, feeling exhausted, only to find someone has already solved a problem for you, or made your life a little easier without asking. You thank them, but they brush it off as nothing, a small, inconspicuous act of kindness. But in the realm of silent love, it's never just nothing. These actions, though small, speak volumes. When love is unspoken, it reveals itself through actions, small favors, quiet assistance, and gentle care that show more than words ever could. Maybe it's the colleague who takes on an extra task without saying anything, simply to ease your burden. Or the friend who remembers exactly how you take your coffee and brings it to you, no questions asked. These are not grand gestures, but subtle signs of affection. Jung's work on repressed emotions emphasizes that when we cannot verbalize our deepest feelings, they often find expression in our actions. In silent love, this means small, invisible sacrifices made for no other reason than a genuine desire to care. These gestures, though seemingly insignificant, often go unnoticed. Yet, they speak more truthfully than words can. And the most interesting part? The person performing these acts doesn't want recognition. If someone consistently puts your comfort above their own, without seeking any acknowledgement, it may be their way of saying, "I care," without speaking the words. It's in the events happening around you. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to cross your path over and over, almost as if fate itself is keeping them in your life? If someone keeps appearing by chance, if your conversations flow effortlessly, and if coincidences keep stacking up, it may not be random at all. There could be a deeper, unseen connection at play. These meaningful coincidences, often described as synchronicity, are not mere chance events. They can be signs that something far greater than us is at work. In the realm of silent love, synchronicity shows up in subtle ways. You think of someone, and they text you almost immediately. You bump into each other in unexpected places, where you discover that you share similar stories, experiences, and tastes. These aren't just coincidences. They happen because the other person, on a deeper level, is seeking your presence, even if they are unaware of the extent of their feelings. Sometimes, even without them realizing, they're subconsciously finding reasons to be near you, connecting to things that are meaningful in your world. Another telling sign lies in the energy between you when you're together. Have you ever experienced an invisible tension when in someone's presence? A feeling that mixes comfort with restlessness, like something unspoken is hanging in the air? Long silences that feel meaningful, or glances that linger a little too long. These subtle moments speak louder than words ever could. If it feels like someone is always appearing in your path, if coincidences are frequent, and the connection feels too strong to be random, it may not be by chance. The universe may be quietly nudging you toward an understanding that neither of you has yet dared to voice. The fifth sign of silent love isn't in the words someone says, but in what they do without realizing it. The body, as wise as it is, often gives away what the mind tries to conceal. When someone has deep feelings but tries to suppress them, tiny details in their body language will reveal the truth. These expressions are hard to control. They spring from the unconscious. Have you ever caught someone looking at you a bit too long, only for them to quickly glance away once they realize they've been seen? Or perhaps you've noticed them subtly leaning toward you during a conversation, as if drawn to your presence? These are clear signs of emotional connection, even if the person never speaks of it. Other common signs include changes in voice tone, slight nervousness, spontaneous smiles when they see you, or gestures like adjusting their clothes or fixing their hair when you're nearby. Even accidental touches like brushing hands can reflect hidden affection. The body speaks when the mind is silent. It doesn't know how to lie. If someone's behavior around you changes in such subtle ways, it could be a clear sign that something profound is unfolding beneath the surface. When emotions are real, they always find a way to manifest, even if it's through the smallest gestures. The sixth sign of silent love can appear unexpectedly in the middle of an otherwise casual conversation, when your name comes up for no apparent reason. Has it ever happened that someone brings up your name repeatedly, even when there's no clear reason to do so. Or perhaps they mention you in conversations where you aren't even present. This isn't just a coincidence. It's a sign that this person thinks about you more than they realize, and without intending to, their subconscious finds ways to let it slip. Jung believed that the unconscious mind often influences our speech without our control. When a feeling is repressed, the mind finds ways to express it indirectly. In the case of silent love, this can happen when the loved one's name just falls from their lips, almost as if it's being spoken without conscious thought. Pay attention to the tone they use when they say your name. Often, it's softer, more tender, as if that name holds something sacred. There might even be a small pause before they speak it, as if they're aware of what it means but unsure of how to say it aloud. Another interesting clue is when this person seems to tell stories where your name keeps appearing, even when the context has nothing to do with you. We speak of those who leave an imprint on us, and when someone has made an impact on our hearts, it's nearly impossible to keep it hidden. If your name keeps popping up in conversations, or if their eyes seem to glow when they speak about you, it's likely a sign that the silent love they feel is more visible than they realize. The seventh sign of silent love reveals itself in those moments when someone tries to hide their feelings but can't help but show a bit of discomfort when you interact with other people, especially when you're sharing moments with someone else. It may not be obvious at first, but someone secretly in love with you might show subtle signs of jealousy, just enough to indicate that they care deeply, even if they're too afraid to admit it. This is one of the most powerful, yet invisible ways in which silent love often makes itself known. It's not about dramatic scenes or intense possessiveness, but about those subtle shifts in mood, fleeting reactions, or seemingly harmless comments that actually reveal deep inner tension. Have you ever noticed someone getting quieter or more distant when you enthusiastically talk about someone else? Or perhaps they make subtle jokes, try to downplay your words, or even sarcastically comment when you mention a potential romantic interest. This can be an unconscious way of expressing jealousy without revealing true feelings. Repressed emotions don't simply vanish. They find their way into the open in the most unexpected ways. In the case of silent love, jealousy might not come in the form of an outburst or overt possessiveness, but rather through body language, such as crossed arms, avoiding eye contact, or a sudden change in tone when the subject shifts to others. It can also appear as mild discomfort, masked by a joke or comment that, on the surface, seems harmless but holds a deeper emotional weight. Another key sign is how the person behaves in response to your interactions with others. Someone who harbors feelings for you but doesn't wish to expose them might subtly attempt to shift your attention, steer the conversation elsewhere, or even highlight their own qualities as though trying to unknowingly stand out in your eyes. These small, hidden signs of jealousy are among the clearest indicators of silent love, for no one experiences that kind of discomfort for someone who doesn't matter to them. So, if you notice someone reacting differently when you talk about others, pay close attention. What may seem like a random or insignificant response could actually be an expression of feelings they have yet to admit. The eighth sign of silent love doesn't manifest through words, gestures, or glances, but through something far subtler and more mysterious: dreams. Have you ever found yourself dreaming about someone repeatedly without any clear reason? Waking up with the strong sense that this person had been on your mind, even though you haven't spoken in some time? Some cultures believe that when we dream about someone, it's because they are thinking intensely about us. And now science suggests that these nighttime encounters might not be as coincidental as we once thought. Carl Jung proposed that we are all interconnected through a collective unconscious, a subtle, invisible field where our emotions and experiences are shared. This means that when someone feels something profoundly for you, their energy might cross the boundary of this unconscious connection and find its way into your dreams. It's as if their silent love is reaching out to you through this unseen channel. But this isn't just spiritual belief. Research into brain waves and energy resonance shows that thought carries its own vibration. And when someone focuses on you deeply, that energy may subtly be transmitted across this invisible connection. So, if you find yourself dreaming of someone often, especially when there's no apparent reason for it, it could very well be their energy reaching out to you. Interestingly, these dreams often lack clear narratives or overt romantic scenarios. They are not filled with love confessions or passionate encounters, but rather involve ordinary, everyday situations. What matters most is the emotional impact these dreams leave on you when you wake. If someone keeps appearing in your dreams, it might be because the connection you share with them goes beyond what can be seen by the eyes. Perhaps this is the purest form of silent love, an invisible bond, reaching out to you in the moments when you are most open to it. The ninth sign of silent love is revealed in the subtle, almost imperceptible way someone mirrors your behavior. Have you ever noticed someone starting to speak like you, adopting expressions or habits that are part of your daily routine? This isn't just coincidence. It's likely a psychological phenomenon known as unconscious mirroring. When we are drawn to someone, our minds naturally activate this imitation mechanism, prompting us to subtly copy their gestures, posture, and even tone of voice. Deep within, this is a way of trying to foster a deeper connection, even if it's not intentional. Jung believed that the unconscious mind naturally gravitates toward those who leave a significant emotional imprint on us. Mirroring is one of the most instinctive ways humans try to draw closer to one another. What's most revealing is that this behavior doesn't occur with just anyone. If someone mirrors your posture, mimics your expressions, or even begins to adopt your habits, it's not random. It's their unconscious mind trying to build a stronger, invisible connection with you. Mirroring doesn't stop at physical gestures. It can extend to opinions, preferences, and even in how someone perceives the world. The person might suddenly align with your views, express interest in things you care about, or even shift their opinion because you think differently. This unconscious imitation is the mind's way of saying, "I'm in tune with you." So, if you notice someone around you beginning to mirror your behaviors or views, take note. Silent love rarely declares itself in bold ways. Instead, it reflects back at you, like an invisible mirror, showing you their connection to you in the most subtle, yet profound ways. The 10th sign of silent love shows itself when someone hides their true feelings behind a mask. Not everyone knows how to handle intense emotions. For some, liking someone without knowing whether those feelings are mutual can be overwhelming, and the natural unconscious response is to build a protective shield. This shield may appear in many forms: distant behavior, excessive joking, or even an outward show of indifference. Jung referred to the persona as the mask we wear to adapt to the world, often concealing our true emotions. In silent love, this mask can show up as coldness or calculated behavior designed to hide the true depth of what someone feels. Have you ever noticed someone acting differently around you? Perhaps they become overly playful, always cracking jokes to avoid serious discussions. Or they may appear indifferent, as though they don't care, when in truth, they care more than they're willing to admit. Another sign is emotional inconsistency. One moment, they may be fully present, engaged and warm, the next, distant and aloof. This push-pull pattern often emerges from an unconscious desire to control their emotions and protect themselves from vulnerability. The fear of being exposed leads many to cover their silent love with sarcasm, irony, or subtle provocations. Beneath this emotional armor lies someone who is afraid of being too open. If someone consistently hides behind a persona, whether through humor or calculated aloofness, it could be a clear sign that what they feel for you is far deeper than they allow themselves to show. The 11th sign of silent love appears in the small, seemingly casual challenges someone creates to test your reactions without even realizing they're doing it. When someone feels something profound but is unwilling or unable to admit it, the unconscious mind finds ways to seek answers without taking emotional risks. One of the most common ways this happens is through emotional testing, subtle scenarios designed to gauge your interest. Has anyone ever teased you just to see how you'd react? Or asked for your opinion on relationships, loyalty, or a hypothetical situation to test your views? Or perhaps they casually mention a fake crush, just to see if you'd show signs of jealousy? These are classic signs of someone testing the waters, trying to assess your feelings without having to expose their own. For Jung, the unconscious mind is always scanning the environment for signals that validate what it feels. In the case of silent love, a person might set up these subtle tests to see if you feel the same, all while avoiding the vulnerability of an outright confession. Another common form of emotional testing is light teasing or playful banter, a disguised compliment or comments about how the two of you would make a great couple. These tests might seem insignificant at first, but if they keep happening, they are a strong indication that the person is trying to gauge your feelings without asking directly. If you notice someone frequently creating situations to observe your reactions, asking indirect questions about relationships, or behaving in a slightly provocative way, it could be a clear sign that silent love is quietly waiting for a sign before it's finally revealed. The 12th sign of silent love doesn't show up in grand gestures or direct words. It reveals itself in someone's constant presence during your most vulnerable moments. Love doesn't always make itself known through bold declarations or dramatic acts. Often, it is most powerful when it's present in the most subtle ways, showing up when you need it most, even without being asked. Have you ever noticed someone who seems to show up whenever you're going through a tough time? Maybe it's a colleague who senses your rough day and steps in quietly to help. Or a friend who offers comfort without you needing to say a word. Or perhaps it's someone who, without even speaking, lightens your emotional load. Carl Jung believed that there is a deep force that connects us all, often beyond logical explanation. When someone loves you in secret, this connection can manifest as a protective instinct, a desire to be there when you need them most, even if they can't or won't admit their feelings. This silent support can appear in many forms. Genuine concern masked as casual questions, encouragement during moments of self-doubt, or small, unnoticed acts of kindness. Sometimes the person may downplay their actions, acting as though it's no big deal or just something anyone would do. But the truth is, not everyone cares that much. The difference between a simple gesture and a sign of silent love lies in the consistency. Is this person always there for you, even when they don't need to be? Do they notice things about you that others overlook? If the answer is yes, their care may go far beyond simple friendship. Love doesn't always declare itself in words. Sometimes it manifests in the moments when someone chooses to stand by your side, even before you realize you need them. The 13th sign of silent love isn't about someone else's gestures, words, or actions. It's found within you. Often, we try to find rational explanations for emotions that simply can't be explained by logic. Have you ever felt an unshakable sense that someone has feelings for you, even without any clear evidence? It's as though something in the air, the way they look at you, the way they behave around you, gives you a certainty your mind can't prove, but your heart knows to be true. Jung believed that intuition is a deep form of knowledge that goes beyond rational thought. It's a spiritual connection that taps into the unconscious, guiding us toward truths that our logical mind cannot yet comprehend. When you experience that inexplicable feeling, that someone cares for you more than words or actions have shown, trust it. That knowing is a gift, a whisper from the soul, connecting you to something larger than yourself. This means that even before you consciously recognize the signs of silent love, your intuition might already be picking up on the energy. Humans are more sensitive than they often realize. The smallest shifts, an altered tone of voice, a subtle change in facial expressions, a shift in breathing patterns are all picked up unconsciously. These minute details can create that inexplicable feeling that something more exists between you and that person. If you feel a deep certainty inside you, if you sense a shift in the way they treat you, if the connection feels more profound than words can explain, It could be because the love is already there, just waiting for the right moment to be revealed. Silent love can be hidden in a glance, a gesture, or even a dream. But in the end, we always know when it's present. If you sense that someone loves you in secret, your intuition might be sensing something their mind hasn't yet dared to acknowledge. Silent love can be one of the most intense yet frustrating experiences to navigate. It lives in the details, in the hidden gestures, in the words left unsaid. But now, what do you do with this knowledge? Ignoring the signs might mean missing the opportunity for a meaningful connection. How many potential love stories have never begun because one person was too afraid to make the first move? On the other hand, recognizing the love but doing nothing with it can become a burden. Remaining in that state of uncertainty only fuels expectations that never come to fruition. So the question remains, is it worth keeping this love in silence forever? If you recognize these signs in someone, perhaps it's time to look beyond surface appearances and notice what's truly hidden behind their actions. Who knows? This could be the moment to create the space for that love to finally come to light, whether it's through an honest conversation, a more direct gesture, or simply offering them the space to feel safe enough to open up. After all, love was made to be lived, not just imagined. If this video resonated with you, leave a comment saying, "Silent love always finds a way." And don't forget to subscribe to channel Quantum Aligned, turn on notifications, and share this video to keep exploring profound insights about human relationships. See you in the next video.